questions.
Not 4 sentences right now, more than that.
That's why we have.
Yeah, I have given that also.
Okay.
See directly. In this thread only. So I think.
Hello everyone. I believe I am audible to you all. How can I see the chat box on the participants? Can I? Yeah. Here we go. So I will concentrate on this, right? Huh? So before we start the first live session, let me introduce the course a bit. I know you have already gone through 3 weeks of session and different course materials, and I don't need to give much introduction about the course, but in case you have couple of queries or say doubts, we'll address these doubts. I believe my PPT is visible to you all. Just a minute, hold on. Ravindra, is my PPT visible to them? Yeah. So, where is the pointer? No, this is the pen. Ask them to provide the pointer. So there was a question that what is the objective of this course? The objective is to to understand the data pattern, past data, behavior, and understand the historical nature of the past data, whether it's any organizational data or say any practical or social science data or your project data or any kind of forecasting data that you have for the companies. It could be sales, it could be demand planning, it could be financial data. You can analyze the data and their past pattern, and you can make the forecast for the future growth or future planning of the organization. So it's all about prediction. Generally, the question was that how we'll define the objective or we'll understand the objective of this business forecasting course. That I am explaining. Generally, 3 aspects we do cover. So business, any organization need to cover. First is the demand planning, sales, then sales planning, or you can say first the sales planning, then demand planning, and then the financial planning. These 3 are the major aspects of business planning where you need forecasting, and then you can throw these business aspects of forecasting like sales, demand, and then the financial planning, etc. Financial forecasting. You can manage the risk of the organization effectively. You can manage the resources effectively. For example, say, if you know the demand for a product, you can plan the inventory management effectively, right? Or say, your production planning effectively, manufacturing planning effectively. And then you can utilize your resource in that way based on your demand planning. You can make their inventory management and the procurement management, or say production planning, and you can manage your resources effectively. It also gives you the competitive edge. if you do a proper planning of your forecasting through demand, sales and financial aspects. There comes the different techniques of business forecasting. Remember, you have seen the first session, we have discussed many sectors, right? In every sectors you need this type of aspects of forecasting which will help you to get in confidence in managing your day-to-day business operation. So for operational efficiency, you need forecasting effectively, and for that you need different techniques and models, right? Different approaches we have discussed, and then different techniques of forecasting we will be covering. Now, before we carry forward few more questions, let me come to the interactive session with you all. So I could see there are several questions. So there is a question, which forecasting model can be used to compare upcoming sales order projected for the next 3 months with the historical forecast available for the current month? Which forecasting model can be used to compare upcoming sales order projected for the next 3 months with a historical forecast available for the current month? Okay, Sachin has asked a question that you have only 1 month of data, right? Only current month data you have, and you need to make a forecast for the next 3 months. In that case, which model you should use? Generally, when you have only 1 month data with you, you cannot use any predictive modeling or forecasting modeling that you are going to learn. In that case, the better approach is that you follow name method, because name method says that whatever has happened in the past, that would be considered as the future forecast for the upcoming month or upcoming period. So better to follow in such cases name method. So you don't have to do any calculation and you don't have any past data, right? But since Sachin's question is of 3 months forecast, and you have only 1 month data, past data, for the immediate month, suppose you have only January month data, and for February forecasting, better follow name method. But for March forecasting, you have now 2 months data, right? January and February, you can take the average of them. You cannot use moving average, because for moving average, you need few sample of previous months, right? Then only you can take the moving average and you can drag. But in this case, you have 2 month data, January, February, you can take the average and you can make the forecast. But if you think that February has a higher sale than March, than January, you have only 2 month data, you can take a weighted average where you can give higher weightage to the February, because you have the February data now. Now when you go to the month of March, you have now 3 month data, January, February, March. Say January, February, March for the month of April, say. So now you have a 3 month data. The old existing, the provided data is January. Now you have a February sales now, March sale now. Now you would like to go for April sale, April forecast. So you have 3 months data now. Either you can take average, you cannot take moving average here also. Either you can follow name method, whatever sales has happened in the month of March, you can consider that as a prediction for forecast for the month of April. Otherwise, you can see the trend of the data. If there is a uptrend or downtrend in the data, you can give extra weightage to the month of March, and you can make a forecast in your weighted average, or you can directly calculate the trend of the data, because you have 3 months data, January, February, March. You can use regression also, trend line analysis. You can make a forecast for the month of April. This way you can manage the situation if you have only 1 month data. And once you generate more data, rather than making 3 months, next 3 months forecast based on only January, the best strategy is that just forecast for February, see the data pattern, and then you carry forward your forecast. Once you get the 3 months data, to some extent, you can use your regression or trend line analysis. Regression will come in 4th week. Detail of regression analysis we will be discussing. You will, get insights of regression or trend line analysis, how to do that, and you will get more insights of it. Now, this is a very good question actually. Sometimes, just a minute. sometimes the question is like that, for the, if you have only 1 month data, how can you make a forecast for the next 3 months? Couple of answers I have given. Remember, initially I told that if you have a January data, say only 1 month sale, for the next month better to prefer net, and once you generate few more, then you can start with a weighted average or say trend line analysis once you get minimum 3 months data. One thing, remember, you have to be careful about the situation. Say, if you have a October sale for say cold drinks product, October sales data are given, and for November sales you want to predict based on the October data, in the searching for you or for everybody, in that case you even cannot follow name method. You have to use your own intuition. Like for Pepsi sales or say cold drinks, say Coke sale, in October there could be high sale, but in November onwards there will be low sale because winter will come. So in that case you can reduce 10% sales, or based on the past year experience, though you don't have data, but your common sense of the past or similar product sale of other companies, or even your own company, if you have a previous year sale data, you can see that in October you have that much sale, but you have only October data. You cannot use name method for November prediction because there will be down in sale because winter has come. So you can reduce 10%, 15%, or based on experience you can make a prediction for that. So this way situation wise also you can manage. Next question, course objective. I have already given the answer. Mandarkar, I have already given in the beginning of this today's session. I have given the objective of course objective in detail. You can manage sales planning, you can manage demand planning through forecasting, you can manage financial forecasting. You can manage the risk effectively if you do a financial planning effectively or business planning effectively through different techniques of forecasting. Suppose if you can do a better demand planning, you can manage your inventory effectively. If you do a better sales planning, you can manage your marketing plan effectively. If you do a better financial planning, you can do a better day-to-day operation of your financial activities, say budgeting and all these things effectively. So it manages the resource, it helps to manage the resources and the operational activities in a competitive manner. So these are the many advantages or objectives of business forecasting. So that if you don't know business forecasting techniques or the aspects of business forecasting, probably you won't be able to do your daily operation of your organization in an efficient manner. So for that, whether it's a risk management, whether it's a future prediction for competitive edge, understanding consumer taste and the past data behavior, everything you can study through the tools and techniques of business forecasting. Here comes the objective of business forecasting and the tools and techniques of forecasting methods. Now, there is a question that during which stage of new product development process is the physical realization of the product concept created? During which stage of new product development process is the physical realization of the product concept created? Baba, because question is this: during which stage of new product development process the realization of product concept created? Actually, this is not, to some extent, not a question from business forecasting. It's more on like strategy innovation kind of product or new product development. But I can try to give response to Bika's question. Generally, for new product development, it's not a startup. In my PPTs or lectures, I have given example of startup and the forecasting impact of forecasting in startup phases. But here the question is new product development. When it comes to new product development, there are 5-6 stages, like initial stage, like screening stage, and like idea generation stage. First is the idea generation stage for new product development, and then the screening of ideas. Like imagine now our new government, the current government is saying that for 2027 we should be in the position of developed country. So for that they are collecting opinion from young generation, the feedback, suggestions of young generation, in which manner, in which steps, what are the steps we should take so that we can become developed country by 2047, next 25 years. So they are collecting, the government, the central government is collecting the opinions, the ideas. Similarly, for new product development, first you need to gather the ideas. That is called the stage of idea generation, first stage. There are many people define the new product development in 5 stages, many people define in 7 stages. So let us understand with the basic 5 stages like idea generation. Then stage 2 is the screening of ideas and consolidate them to a framework. Create a conceptual framework. And then once you do that, next step is that construct your concept framework. That is the question that you have asked, the concept framework. Then do the validation of that through testing and trial. And at the same time, once you start testing and trial, you do the marketing and understand the taste of the product, whether the product will be consumed by the consumers or not, or the customers or not. If yes, then you go to product development. And once the product level, like 4th, 5th stages you have reached, the concept framework, the concept created comes in 3rd or 4th stage, say, before the marketing and the testing part. Before that, the concept comes after the idea has been gathered and the framework has been developed. Once the framework has been developed, then concept been created by the R&D team. And then you do the trial run of your concept of the product and start thinking product development. At the same time, you do marketing test whether the product will be consumed or it will be accepted by the consumers or not. If then only you go for full-fledged production, and then you do your commissioning and the further production process and the sales, etc. So there the product concept comes in the middle after screening and idea generation and the screening and the conceptual framework was done. Then people think about product creation. Next question. Which method of forecasting should be ideal for predicting e-commerce business sales from Google, Facebook, say? Which programming language be used? Python. Let me give you answer of the first question. Which method of forecasting should be ideal for predicting e-commerce business sales? See, generally e-commerce business sales, understand the answer, or let me try to reach to your expectation that you have put a question, right? Kishore. So actually for e-commerce, generally you have the secondary data. You can do the market research through primary data analysis, but generally for e-commerce sales you have the secondary data. You have a huge amount of POS, point of sale data, inventory sales and inventory management data. So from the POS, once you collect the data, that to some extent become your secondary data of e-commerce sales, right? And once you have the secondary data, it is better to use some machine learning techniques. Like you do the classification of the data, that what type of, whether women buys the product, grocery product more, or men buy the grocery product more. You think about, say, whether, say for some, say, electronics products, what type of customer are buying that product, whether the salary people are buying that product more, or non-salaried people are buying the product more. So this way, different classification, which age category people are buying the product, because you have the store data, secondary data, for e-commerce I am talking about. And then once you analyze the data behavior effectively, what type of data, customer segmentation, age group, demographic, whether from which, suppose we are from India, right? And you might have a sales of e-commerce from, maybe most of the sales might come from that, say, tier 1 cities, say Calcutta, say like metro cities, say Delhi, Bombay, and say Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad kind of cities, right? So you can understand the consumer behavior effectively from the top tier city. But once you go to tier 2, tier 3 city, you will see different taste of the product. They might bargain with the product price than product quality. But city people will prefer product quality than the product price. So there are different way of data analysis you can understand by analyzing the data behavior. And then you can do the classification technique, clustering process, and then you can use some component analysis of the data, and then you can use some supervised learning, say regression. You can use some logistic regression. You can use some machine learning, like random forest, or different techniques you can use, and you can make, because you have a secondary data. You can use ARIMA model, which I'll teach in the forthcoming session. You will get to know in 6th week. We'll use ARIMA model for short-term prediction for this type of data. It is good to use different type of supervised learning, regression also good, logistic, and different type of ML process you can use, and you can make a better forecast. Next question, that which type of software we should use? Yes, Python is the one of the best software for ML analysis. But in my course, as I mentioned in the beginning of my course, because you have already attended couple of sessions, I've already told that generally in most of the sessions I will prefer Excel, because in Python you can do the coding once you understand the software and you can get the results. But in Excel, if you have gone through second, third week of my sessions, you will understand that I try to give the technical aspects to a layman people also. Even if you are from HR background or any background which does not suit your business analytics thought process, still you can understand the concepts, the techniques of my courses, business forecasting, for layman person also, and how these models work, that I illustrate through Excel with sample data. So that end-to-end understanding for any people throughout the world, not about you that you have enrolled for my course. Anybody who can understand, will have to understand through my courses of the different techniques, they will understand end-to-end. The concept, the definition, the idea, and then the illustration through Excel. And that concept, like decision support system I prepare for each and every session, you will understand. And that you can develop in Python or any other software, IBM Cplex, whatever you prefer, you can use it. But definitely for secondary data, e-commerce data, Python is one of the most preferred tool. But in our courses, generally we will be following, because it's a technical sessions and understanding part, basic Excel, and like all iteration, the steps of all methods will be illustrated in Excel. How does the method work? That also will understand through Excel calculations. I'll share the Excels also. There is a question, I have seen it, that can you share the Excel of each models? Yes, we'll share the Excel of each and every model that we are going to illustrate in different sessions. So you will get that. Now next question, what is the significance of quantum computing in advanced artificial intelligence? This is not, quantum computing is not our course, perhaps it is a different question, but since we have talked about artificial intelligence, yes, AI is one of the part of data science and machine learning process. AI is more on machine human understanding through machine, or say data pattern, all these things you put to a machine and machine will understand, and they will bring with their AI like intelligence, and they will capture like through reinforcement learning, through ML process and different techniques of AI, neural network, deep learning, and through that system will understand the pattern of the data and they will carry forward and make a learning process and make a forecast for the future. So AI comes over there when you use more on advanced learning of ML or deep learning, or say ANN, or say to some extent different optimization techniques through which optimization algorithm through which that AI process are being built in the machines, and they take care of the research of AI computing or the quantum computing, etc. But for our course of business forecasting, since a business course, we have not concentrated or emphasized much on AI process. So for that, it is better to you can see a couple of AI related courses where they have emphasized only on artificial intelligence and the techniques and tools of artificial intelligence. There you will be able to get better answer for this question about quantum computing. Now, next question from Ankita: how to develop a forecasting system for a particular business? Okay, it's a very larger question, how to develop a forecasting system. Ankita, to be honest, if you go through all my 8-week sessions and all of these models, so many business forecasting, almost all the business forecasting models we are covering, right? So you will become an expert, to be honest, because the PPT, the video will be there with you. You can go through the video in each and every time and understand the models, techniques, and how the model techniques work, that I have illustrated through Excel. And you look at the Excels, once you attend few more week of sessions, you will get to know each and every model of business forecasting are being illustrated through Excel in a step-by-step manner. So once you know all this, how the iteration are worked, how the calculation are being done, everything I have shared with Excel with sample data. You go through all 8 weeks of sessions, all models you put together, you develop your decision support system for your organization. Suppose you are working in a paint industry, or say chemical industry, or say apparel industry, or say e-commerce industry, or say IT industry. Wherever you work, suppose you are working in a startup, and you know their demand, sales, etc. You capture all these things, and the models that you learn, you prepare as per the demand of the organization or the requirement of your supervisor or the boss, companies need. You prepare your decision support system, whatever you can use Python or you can use any other software, Java, etc. You can prepare your own decision support system for your organization, for your business, and accordingly all the techniques that I have shared or I will be teaching, You can put all ideas and develop your own decision support system, right? Just click and bring the model and put the data and get it, because algorithm will be developed through Excel illustration only. So I believe it is you understood my answer, that how to develop a forecasting system. You can develop your own decision support system based on your, like all the techniques I will be teaching right through these courses. So once you know say 15-20 techniques of different method, like if there is a trend, what type of techniques you need to use, if there is a trend or say along with seasonality, which model to use, if there is a non-stationary data pattern, you will get to know when you enter into ARIMA model, you will get to know how to manage the non-stationary data. Because in moving average or say name method or say basic expense or smoothing that you are going through in this week, generally we will be following the stationary data. But if there is a non-stationary data, some techniques of differencing or say logarithm or say ARIMA process are there. Decoupleur process I will explain. So once you know all these things, you can handle the non-stationary data also. How to use the behavior of a dependent variable based on different independent parameter. In your organizations might be there are many independent variables who actually explain or control the dependency of your sales or product performance, etc. So you have a couple of independent variables there. If you collect all the data, you can use some supervised learning or say regression model, and you can use that model for that organization or for that particular business system. So this way you can develop different model depending on the situation, nature of the problem, and you can develop your own decision support system. There is specific model that you have to use for that model for every business problem. Depending on the situation, scenario, case to case, you have to bring the case and you have to bring the model and you have to bring the mapping of that, and accordingly you develop your algorithm or say Excel. Next, Neha Kumari has asked a question. What is the appropriate type of forecasting method? What is the appropriate type of forecasting method? This is Neha, I think you are in the in a beginning level perhaps. What is the appropriate type of forecasting method? If you go through my third lecture, I have mentioned different type of forecasting. Even second lecture is also very impactful lecture for your future career, like data-driven decision making and the essentials of predictive analytics. Many aspects I have covered as a introductory talk to industry people as well as learner in the academic level like you all. Now your question is that what are the appropriate type of forecasting? Generally, forecasting have been classified into two categories. One is qualitative forecasting, or say another is the quantitative forecasting. One is the qualitative, like subjective, another is the objective. In subjective, what happens, to some extent you define based on experts' opinion or based on say say experienced people in the field, or say group decision making, or say top management's opinion, or say retired person, or who has worked with that particular industry or the relevant industry, take their opinion, and then you can conduct an interview, and then you can make data analysis and you can make a forecast. Consumer behavior study, Salesforce composite, Delphi method, these are the way to manage the qualitative way of forecasting. There are another appropriate type of the quantitative, where you specifically define the data pattern and you take the appropriate model and you make the forecast. For that there are two categories appropriate model. One is the time series analysis, another is the regression model, econometric models, where in regression model you have independent variable and dependent variable, and you find the causal relationship among them. If there is a data where you have independent variable, set of independent variable and dependent variable who drives, like say one person, an employee, which employee is most suitable for for say sales representative. You can see their academic score, or you can see their past experience the person has or not, or similar industry work he has done earlier or not, or like communication skill. All these things you can see. Based on that you can create a regression line, and you can, based on the past data, and you can fit a performance analysis of an employee based on the past couple of variable and past data. So once you feed that causal relationship or regression relationship, then for a new candidate, you see whether the candidate has experience or not, how many years of work he has done, what are his academic score. All this if you put in your regression model, you will be able to see whether the candidate will be able to perform or not. So in that case you select the regression as one of the appropriate model. Then, but if you have only one series of data, so sales of a data, there is no other variables. In that case, you use time series models. Or say, suppose you have only say air quality data, or say temperature of couple of days, and you want to make a forecast couple of weeks, and you want to make a forecast for the future temperature of next couple of weeks. So in that case, you can use some area model or say time series model. So you have to select the appropriate model depending on the context and the availability of the data and the pattern of the data given to you. Accordingly, you can select the appropriate model. Now next question, Vinith. What is the question? What is the importance of accurate financial forecasting? Importance of accurate financial forecasting. It is huge. If you don't do accurate financial forecasting, how will you do your business plan? How your business will work on day to day? If you don't do proper financial forecasting, if you do a forecast without any meaning, without any data analysis, without understanding the company's past performance, how you will make a better business planning? Do you think that your organization will sustain? If you don't do proper net present value calculation, if you don't do proper net present value calculation, if you don't do proper budgeting calculation, forecasting, how will you go to bank and get a loan? If you don't know how much loan you will take, your NPA, if you don't understand the NP pattern based on the past sales and past loans, how will you manage your financial aspects or the operation of your organization? So you need proper financial planning, financial forecasting. This is one of the most important part, because finance is one of the important part for any organization, any business planning. If you do that accurately, suppose you want to construct a bridge, and government want to construct a bridge, and you are working in a company who works on say construction domain, and they would like to go for a bidding process. They would like to go for your organization. Suppose you are working in a construction company, and you would like to go for, your company would like to go for a bidding for the government project, right? So you have to give a low bid, so that project comes to your company, but you have to maintain the profit also. So if you don't understand the feasibility study, if you don't understand the budgeting part and the expenditure, all these things based on the past data, similar projects, how your organization are handled, how much cost are been involved over there, how much the net present value there, and what was the profit earlier. If you don't understand all these things, how you make a prediction and you go for a bidding for that? So you need a financial planning, financial forecasting accurately. The more you do a accurate forecasting planning based on the past data or similar analogy method or say historical data analysis, similar prediction you can do for a new project that you are going to bid, your company is going to bid, and you are one of the person in the team, you'll be able to make a better planning, right? Bid. You can do it with low price bidding, but you may win the project, but your company will not be profitable. Then what is the meaning of getting that project? So you have to bid with a low price. At the same time, you have to maintain your profitability also. So you have to do a better accurate financial planning, right? Forecasting planning based on the past experience or the analogy method, and then you can plan. So therefore everywhere you need accurate forecasting technique, whether it's a financial problem, whether it's a marketing, whether it's a operation of inventory management. You need forecasting effectively. Next question, Dipesh. How to do business forecasting? Dipesh, how to do business forecasting is a question. I think I have given couple of earlier answer, similar question. What is the objective of that, and what are the techniques that you know? Based on that, I believe your question is addressed. But still, there are so many questions, but I'll address all of them. But let me address to your question also. How to do business forecasting? If you come here, look at here. Here I have mentioned there are three approaches of business forecasting. One is the Dipesh. One is the demand forecasting. How to do business forecasting? One is the demand forecasting approach. Another is the sales forecasting. Another is the finance. These are the three main approach or aspects of business forecasting. In order to do that, business forecast, demand forecasting, sales forecasting, financial forecasting, because what advantage you will get for that? In the previous slide I have mentioned here. This is the introductory session. You can go through that. So there are many advantages. You will be able to, you will understand the demand pattern, the data pattern, the sales pattern, company performance, all these things by analyzing the past data, right? And you can make a better forecast. You can manage the risk, all these things. The objective part, the advantages part I am not discussing. I am going to your question. So these are the three way you can manage the previous points. The company can get advantage through business forecasting. Now how to do? Look at here. You can follow a bottom-up method. I believe you can see my PPT. You can follow business bottom-up method. You can follow top-down method, and then you can follow historical analogy method. You can follow deductive method. All these I have discussed. These are the approaches. And then remember, bottom-up method, iterative process, brainstorming method, Delphi method. This way you can make forecasting. I have discussed that you can follow market research method to do business forecasting, to understand that data pattern. You can rely on Salesforce representatives feedback. You can make for a brainstorming session experts panel of experts and then their opinion. This way you can make forecasting. You can follow historical analogy method. Whatever has happened in the past, based on that you follow for the future prediction. You can follow deductive method based on the current situation, based on the expert's opinion and current situation, you develop your forecasting planning. There are a couple of ways to do forecast. And in order to do this couple of options, like Delphi method also I have discussed, that also you can follow for qualitative forecasting. There are a couple of quantitative methods also. Here are so many quantitative methods, all of them we will be discussing, right? You will get to know through these different techniques of forecasting methods, you will be able to do forecasting. Like if you know the logistic regression or say regression, you will be able to make a forecast for any products or any company's need, etc., where there is a dichotomous kind of decision making, or say to some extent dependency type of decision making. If you have a time series data, you can use any type of time series method, you can do forecasting. So these are the different options of making forecast. Now what is the next question? The next question is about career scope by Sumit Jha. This is the most important question, I think, for everybody. Everybody, just see the question of Sumit about career scope. To be honest, the course title is business forecasting, and in my department I do teach this course business forecasting to our MBA students. It is the most preferred course for the students, even better than perhaps finance marketing courses also. They take these courses. There is overflow in the waiting list. You can understand the scope. If you put this course in your transcript of your mark sheet, probably, and if you tell them that you have understood the business forecasting techniques effectively, the tools, techniques, and how that been used with different case applications or different illustration in the Excel and all these things, if you understand that, especially in the predictive analytics domain or say data science domain, there is no better understanding of than this business forecasting course. If you take this, if you go through all these things, and data science is the future, right? Data is the new well, and data science is the future. And predictive analytics is one of the most important pillar, or machine learning techniques, or supervised learning and unsupervised learning techniques are one of the most important pillar of data science. And when it comes to the analytics, business analytics, predictive analytics is the most important pillar of business analytics. Basic statistical analysis comes on the descriptive analytics that you can understand in a 10 days or 2 days course. Basic descriptive, mean, median, standard deviation calculation, all these things. But two most important is the predictive and the prescriptive. Prescriptive comes under optimization, multi-criteria, and different type of strategical decision making, which I have discussed a lot in my second session. Remember, second session, data-driven decision making process, steps. I have discussed that. You can go through that, and you will understand the career opportunity for this particular through this course. And predictive analytics, almost many techniques of predictive analytics, except deep machine learning process, we are going to cover, right? So that is the future, and if you know all these techniques, you will be commanding in future in any organization, whether it's a operational related company, whether marketing or IT, every financial company, everywhere you need forecasting and the predictive analytics, right? There you have a bigger career opportunity. Even those who are from industry, even this is also most important. Forget about if you are in academic, forget about the importance of this course for you. But even those who are from industry, they should come and understand all these techniques to become the expert See, they enroll in different international courses to get certificate on business analytics, and you are getting with the government effort, initiative, and your college support, you are getting this course and the understanding of all these techniques with almost free of cost, right? Only thing is that you have to spend 2 months time to understand the course techniques and the models through Excel and the calculation process and my lectures. That's it. You will become expert. Now next question. No, what is the forecasting difference than prediction and estimation? Interesting question. Vishwaranjan has asked a question. What is the forecasting difference between prediction and estimation? See, estimation comes first, then prediction comes next. If you do estimation effectively, then only you can do a prediction. But in sometimes, like the way we talk about risk and uncertainty. If you understand uncertainty first, then only risk comes, right? So once there is no probability chance. It's a larger situation, scenario. And once you have past data of uncertainty of an event, you can create your histogram based on the probability chances. Then that uncertainty event convert into a risk event. This way, uncertainty convert into risk through chances, through past experience of the past data. Similarly, prediction will be done based on the estimation of the previous data pattern. Suppose you have a sales data of a product for last say 6 months. If you estimate the last 6 months sales data, if you estimate, and if you take some statistical techniques and then you calculate mean, median and forecasting of the time series data, and then you can make a forecasting. Through estimation process, you are making a prediction. Prediction is a terminology, estimation is a calculation process through which you make the prediction. Clear? Now, is there any required data set size, number of rows for applicability of these models? This is interesting, Mukherjee. Is there any required data set size? Yes. It depends on the situation. Like, today in the first question, there is a comment from one of your friend that, sir, I have only 1 month data and I would like to make a forecast for the next 3 months. Imagine none of the model that I have taught will work perhaps. But I have given an address to that also. Like you can follow name method. You can just based on name method you forecast for the February, if you have only January data say. And then January, February data you have and you learn the data pattern and modify your forecast. Like you can take average, you can put some weighted average, you can understand the trend line once you get a 3 months data. This way you can manage. But your question is that how much data set are required depending on the situation. If you like to make a for short term predictions, you maybe 5 shifts like if you like to make a forecast for the stock price. In that case for short term prediction, last couple of days forecast, 5-6 days data are sufficient. But if you like to make a forecast for a long term, so 1 week or 1 month prediction, you need at least 2-3 weeks data or at least 1 month, 2 months data. You can use that type of moving average process. I have discussed detail. You can go through that session of exponential moving average. You need some extra large amount of data, maybe 2-3 months data. Then only you can make a better forecast because you need little extra data. But if you want to make a prediction of GDP of a country, you cannot have only 1 year data, right? In that case, you need couple of year data. Then only you can make a prediction of GDP of our country through a forecasting technique. So depending on the situation, if you want to use some machine learning techniques and you need support, in that case you need large amount of secondary data, large amount of data. Then only you will be able to use a better machine learning techniques, better logistic regression or better classification techniques to understand the data pattern and make a better forecast. If you like to use a regression, trend line analysis, minimum 3 data you require, right? 3-4 data. Generally people say that minimum 25 data sample you should have to get a better estimation with better analysis and corresponding hypothesis testing and understanding the data behavior, getting a strength of the relationship. Minimum 25 sample size you require. People say like that. But if you have say less than 25 data, you will get to know all these aspects I will discuss in different sessions. Even if you have less amount of data, still you can make a forecast. Your accuracy may not be the great, but you can manage it. But if you have large sample data, you can manage it also. So depending on the question set and as well as the situation, you need to manage the data. Even if you have a good amount of data, you may not be able to make a better forecast, or you don't need good amount of data. Like if you have say stock price of say company of last 10 years, Do you think the 10 years data is important for you? I can give one example. Suppose one of the Maharatna company of Indian government is the Bharat Heavy Electricals, BHEL. We call it the BHEL. In 2010-11, it was one of the most branded company in India, one of the most government branded company in India. But the company was not able to back the order and perform the profitability or PAT effectively, sales order effectively. Company's performance was not good at all. Last 10 years the company was not doing good at all. But recently, the such a Maharatna company. But recently government has taken many initiatives and giving too many orders to the BHEL company. BHEL is getting huge order now. More than 1 lakh crore of order is pending with them now. Now see, their performance are changing now. Now that performance, because of the new order are coming. So next 1 or 2 year of order that they have received, based of that you can make a forecast estimation etc. for BHEL. But you cannot take 10 years data. Because in that case, you do not have earlier, you do not have sales order etc. BHEL performance was not good. So if you take that data, that performance, last 10 years performance, it won't impact to your better forecast. You just take last 3-4 years of order and the performance. That is sufficient to make a forecast or to understand the current future prospects of BHEL effectively. So depending on the situation of cases, you have to handle the problem of forecasting, right? Now, next question, sir, how predictive analysis helps in supply chain management? Yeah, Chandan, in supply chain management, the most important part is demand forecasting. In supply chain, whether you are in a downstream supply chain or in an upstream supply chain, and if you are an integrated supply chain, the main aspects are the last echelon. What is that? The retail. And retail, or even with the global supply chain also, I mean manufacturing level also, you need the demand planning. So demand planning is demand forecasting is one of the most important aspects of supply chain, because from there the retail sales comes, or the retailers or the distributor demand comes. Based on that, it passes to the warehouses, distribution center, and then warehouse, and then it goes to the manufacturing plant, right, in a aggregated manner. So manufacturing process or the production planning process or the vendor management can be managed effectively if you can do a better demand planning. So in supply chain end-to-end integration process, you need effective demand planning. Hence predictive analytics required there. When it comes to the demand planning, you need prediction, right? You need forecasting. That's it. One of the important part, the demand forecasting of supply chain system or manufacturing system. So there you come demand. How will you do demand planning of a company of supply chain company? You need some predictive modeling, right? Based on the data, past sales, etc. You have to understand the data pattern, and you can make a future prediction, estimation, and then make a future prediction. So there you require predictive analytics. Clear? Even you have to manage your inventory level, or safety stock level, or production planning level of your supply chain, because supply chain is not just like end-to-end supply of inventory goods in an efficient manner, right? But inventory management is an integral part of supply chain. Demand planning is an integral part of supply chain. Production planning and the relationship with the supplier vendor is an integral part of supply chain. So everywhere you need forecasting, whether it's a sales side or sales side in a demand planning side, or in a vendor management side with supply planning. You need to predict everything, right, to make a better forecasting. So there you require predictive analytics. Next question. Sir, as you emphasize to make use of forecasting in medical business, yes, as for me, it's a very irregular forecasting, except COVID period. Which is the best model? Can I get in next classes? Subhasis, in medical, agree, in healthcare, to be honest, and pharmaceutical domain, generally government and private organization focus rare on data analytics. But perhaps I do feel, like the way also you feel, it is really irregular, and company and also like IT company or different new age technologies like Zerodha founder, say Nitin Kamath, or say Zomato founder, they are very talented because they know the customer test effectively. They use data analytics in their day-to-day operation. Therefore, such a large market they are capturing through data analytics actually. Effectively understanding the consumer behavior, data pattern and data, all this they are analyzing effectively. But in healthcare sector, to some extent, perhaps healthcare and aviation sector also, I feel government need to focus more, much more, because consumer travel test in which city they are traveling. Similarly, in healthcare also, what are the kind of consumers are like patients are coming, in where they are going, which type of hospital they are visiting, what type of to some extent patients are coming in different city, the pattern of patient and the type of patients and the pattern of diseases, all these things, and what kind of medicines are being recommended to them, prescribed to them. All these things, if you can collect, government can collect with some protocols, guidelines, like they are coming up with different government policy. Similarly, if they come up with a data protection policy with the healthcare sector also, perhaps it is highly important to them, and use of predictive analytics or the data science models and techniques or forecasting techniques to make it more efficient or user friendly to the patients. Imagine, suppose I am in Bombay or you are in Bombay, say. There might be one or two candidates who are in Bombay. Tomorrow you might go to Bangalore for your job purpose. Imagine you are visiting one hospital here, your data are stored here. But if you go to Bangalore and if you source a Chennai and if you settle there for next 2 years, and if you visit a doctor there, you have to start your all past history there, and that doctor will understand everything and they will start describing from the beginning. Why not this data can be shared to them? Whatever you have shown or your last historical data of your healthcare or of your health should be passed to them also, so that they can access your data. If Aadhaar or all these things, your PAN card can be accessed everywhere, your financial statement, wherever you go, why not your healthcare statement should go to from one hospital to other hospital? So that they can also use the data and they can understand quickly your data, your pattern, your health disease patterns, and they can manage effectively. So that it's a really, really irregular, and it's a very important part to emphasize that part. But it's beyond our discussion. But I do agree with you that healthcare sector is one of the most important sector where data analytics or predictive modeling should come into effect in an immediate manner, so that government, patient, and the healthcare organizer also should get advantage of it. Like IT companies are using it, but healthcare sector should also use it. Many companies are coming up, but it's not in that pace like the other sector has come forward with data science field. Next question. In view of the recent advances in AI and ML, do you think conventional econometric techniques will very soon become obsolete? Vishwaranjan, I say no. These conventional techniques, let me tell you, everybody, let us understand the question of Vishwaranjan. He is saying that with the advancement of AI and ML, the conventional econometric techniques will become obsolete. The answer is no. In AI, in ML, let me talk about ML because this course is more relevant to ML than AI. So I can give answer through ML aspect. Machine learning is what? Machine learning is just two aspects. One is the supervised learning, another the unsupervised learning. When it comes to the supervised learning, what are the techniques involved in supervised learning? Regression, time series, ARIMA, and your logistic regression, and random forest. All this part of your business forecasting. All these techniques are being used there. People use the term of machine learning. It's all supervised, right? So if you don't understand logistic regression, how will you understand the prediction of a performance, like dichotomous performance? You need this technique, right? You need forecasting. Econometric model or the basic time series modeling are the parent company, parent model. If you don't understand that, you cannot develop any larger ML process. ML process is the new coin. Today people are talking ML. Even 5 years ago people used to talk ML. These days people are talking about reinforcement learning. But what is reinforcement learning? You need both supervised and unsupervised put together, an ML process together. Then only you can go to the reinforcement learning, right? And tomorrow maybe people will not talk machine learning. People will talk reinforcement learning. People will talk about deep learning. And then some new technology, new terminology, new coin will come. So people will use that term with new advanced methods and the techniques. Does it mean that ML process will not be used after 10 years? It will be used. So it is all integrated. New advanced technologies are coming and then people are using that with different name, different combination, and then they are using it in their techniques. But it's all about the fundamentals. If you know fundamentals effectively, then only you can develop a better model, right? And it's all integrated actually. You cannot ignore anyone. And these are the fundamental techniques. Then only you can go to the higher level of techniques that people are developing day by day, and then people are using it. Then, which prescriptive analytics techniques is commonly used in logistic companies for multimodal mode of transport business? As a Chintan, you are asking prescriptive analytics, not predictive. In that case, in multimodal transportation system, when it comes to prescriptive analytics, generally people use transportation system. There people use linear programming, linear optimization, people use integer programming, people use binary integer programming, people use dynamic programming, people use nonlinear programming. Some constant optimization technique they use. Constant optimization technique they use to analyze the multimodal transportation system. And there are many techniques of dynamic programming, goal programming, multi-objective optimization, multimodal multi-objective optimization, multi-objective, multi-item, multimodal optimization, and different type of integer programming techniques, linear optimization technique people use to handle the transportation system in logistics sector as a part of prescriptive analytics. Sometimes they use multi-criteria decision making also. So these are the techniques of prescriptive analytics they use in logistics domain. Next question. Yeah, thank you, Mohammed. Your classes are super, sir. Enjoying very well. Effectively, if you would like to learn to everybody, this let me discuss that. Everybody, if you go through all the PPT and the lecture and the Excel file, lectures effectively, end to end, in each and every lecture, one topic I have taken and I have illustrated with Excel. So it will be a lifetime asset not only for you, in future also those who will go through would like to understand. Any teacher throughout the world or the students, they can come to my lecture and they can understand and they can emphasize in their organization, in their colleges, in their personal level also. So this way we have prepared the lectures so that everybody can understand, end-to-end understanding. You might not require to understand, go through deep books also. Like my lectures, videos and the reference materials that I am providing, we are providing, it's sufficient to understand everything. You will become expert in fact only. Now, next question, what would be the good sample date to predict, sir? What would be a good sample date? I could not understand. Nadia, what is your question? What would be the good sample? Acha, to predict. Okay, sir, what would be a good sample to predict? Yeah, that's we have already discussed. It depending on the situation. Like, if you have a, say, if you like to make a regression, maybe 20-25 sample is sufficient. Even less than that also 10-20 sample is also you can use. If you have a good amount of sample, then it will be good for good prediction. But if you like to use a regression time series analysis, for that, maybe depending on the short-term prediction, long-term prediction and medium-term prediction, you need data. For short-term predictions, maybe couple of last 7 days, 8 days or 8 period is sufficient. But for long-term prediction, you need at least couple of months data. If it is year-wise prediction, you need couple of years data, and accordingly you can make. Sample size is depending on the situation. Even if you have less sample size, you can make a prediction, but your accuracy level may not be the measure of accuracy session you can go through may not be good. So you increase your sample size, increase your prediction model. Look at, in regression, it will come in the next week, 4th week it will come. Regression, you will understand the sample illustration. Like if you have a good sample, your R-square value will be high. You will understand the importance of R-square. But if you have a low sample size, your R-square may not be effective. The strength of the variables between independent variable, dependent variable may not be effectively predicted through R-square value. But if you have a good amount of sample, you can understand the R-square, the impact of the relationship in a efficient manner. Similarly, in time series data, when you have a good amount of sample, you can calculate your measure of accuracy effectively, RMSE or mean square error, etc. effectively, right? So that would give a better RMSE if you have a good amount of sample. But if you have a less amount of sample, you may get RMSE, but that may not be the accurate, much accurate. But you can manage the situation, you can predict effectively. Next question, how does ERM, enterprise management, integrated with business program? ERP system or ERM process is a part of business forecasting, is a part of everything, whether it's a ERM process, CRM process, customer relationship management, whether it's a HR management or marketing, digital marketing, or even supply chain management, analytics, wherever you go, you need business forecasting. So everywhere, even enterprise resource planning or resource management, whatever you would like to say, everywhere you need the planning, business forecasting. Business forecasting is an integral part of any topic, any domain, any division. So better you know it, better you can enhance your organizational efficiency and you can handle the situation effectively. Yeah, Karan, you'd like to say something? Acha, Muhammad, I have got book as you instructed, Business Forecasting by John Hanke. Very good book. Very good book. I do refer that book. There are a few other books also, like Jeffers et al. Etc. Couple of books I have already shared. I can share with you here. Here you can see I have listed couple of good books. Here you can see I have listed couple of good books, but these 2-3 books that I have made in bold color are world-class book actually. You can go through these books and you can buy these books. Business forecasting is a book which is described in a layman manner for everybody. For BTech students, for MTech students, for MBA students, for industry people, for all of them it is good. Even the next book, like essentials, like essentials of business forecasting. I do use it for my business analytics courses. Essentials of business analytics. It takes care of 3 aspects: predictive modeling, prescriptive modeling, and descriptive analytics also. So all 3 are being covered by the book of Jeffrey et al. In Essentials of Business Analytics. This book is also good. The business analytics books by Albright is also very good, but it is more rigorous. These business analytics books, those who have to become expert or who have to study higher study in analytics or data science in future in say top universities in US or say abroad, that this book of business analytics by Albright would be good for you. But for initial level of understanding, especially for BTech students or industry people, Essential of Business Analytics and the John Hanke book of Business Forecasting are the top 2 book you can follow. Couple of Indian book author, like in Indian publishers book also I have mentioned below. You can see Introduction to Management Science, published by Anderson and Williams. Not Indian author, foreign author, but it's been published by Cengage by Indian edition. Price is less and you may go through these books also. And Quantitative Analysis for Managed by Render and Stairs. These are the good book. You can also take the chapters of them and you can go through that. If required, what I'll do, I will take the printout of this or maybe e-copy of this couple of books in Indian edition of them, and I can share the PDF version of that. At least the forecasting chapters of them. They cover many aspects of management science, but only the forecasting related chapters I can take a scan of that and then I can share the PDF version as a supplementary material. I'll see that. But this book is very good, John Hanke book. You can go through and you can keep it for your lifetime requirement. This book is very good, I tell you. I do like this book and I do use it. This book I use for business forecasting courses and this book I use for my courses of business analytics. Next question. I think I have addressed almost all the questions. Still we have another few minutes. No, time is up. But still you have any question? If you have, let me know. I can stay and I can try to address your doubts, queries, so that you become more confident and you get to know the techniques. The learning part should be the most priority, right? So you learn more, you become more expert and use these techniques in future as a part of data scientist in your future career. Acha, Luis, you have enrolled for this course. I am happy to know that. Sobhik, I will come to you. Sobhik, Luis, I am coming to you. Sobhik has mentioned a point that if you can share the PDF of these PPTs, we will share. In a day or two, we will share all the PPTs of the lectures. One by one, once the lecture gets over, then only we will share the PPT. Beforehand, we cannot share. One by one, as per the protocol guidelines, we will share the questions, assignment and the PPTs and the Excel also. There are questions that are, please share the Excels so that it become lifetime asset for us. I will share them also, don't worry. And now, Luis, your question, how is forecasting applicable to luxury fashion brand management? Good question. Yeah, I should have addressed that because you have put that question well in advance. So, Luis, let me tell you, in India, retail industry is the most prominent industry, most emerging industry, in these days. There are many sector, many domains are there, right? But most of the company, especially analytics company, are emphasizing on retail industry. Imagine in India, one of our most popular, branded, as well as, in terms of market share, number one company is the Reliance. They are most emphasized in is now the retail sector now. And in retail sector, when it comes to the retail sector, and when it comes to the retail sector, there are many aspects of retail, whether it's electronics consumers, whether FMCG products, or it's a apparel industry, or say fashion industry. In fashion industry, let me give you introduction, then I'll come to the forecasting part. In fashion industry, there are many companies are coming. Reliance is one of the most, in terms of market share and the profitability, they are the number one company in our country. They have invested heavily into the brand management of fashion as well as the retailing domain. Even Aditya Birla Group, they are also coming up with a heavy capex plan to the fashion industry. And there are many other companies like Gokuldas Agro, Gokuldas from Karnataka based on company, they are coming up, Go Fashion. There are many companies are coming up with their Indian brand, and they are focusing with the foreign brand also, with their many companies are there who are focusing on the fashion industry. But fashion industry to some extent bit unorganized. Most of the fashion products are being sold by unorganized sectors as well as the players. Organized players like TCS, Infosys, this type of company we don't have in the fashion industry in India. Foreign brands are there, but they have a subsidiary in India and they manage this. In that case, the forecasting, because we do use our fashion products most, right? In that case, the products are being sold either brick and mortar portion in shopping mall, etc., or the local stores, or e-commerce market like Myntra and all these things, Amazon, Flipkart, people are selling that fashion products. So it is not organized, but to some extent people are managing selling their product for either brick and mortar option or say e-commerce platform. When it comes to the e-commerce part, in brick and mortar, getting data and making data analysis over there is very difficult. But when it comes to the e-commerce segment of fashion products and the sales, etc., you can store the data because data are being stored in POS data point. And if you can get that data, and if you can analyze and make a forecast or prediction of the data analysis, perhaps the company will be in a better edge or better in competitive advantages. They can understand the consumer behavior, which type of women are buying product, what type of product, whether they are buying the salwar or they are buying say sari or the jeans. You can understand from which sector, from which domain of the geographic domain, region of the country are buying product effectively, more product, what type of product, what type of age group of the women are buying the product. All this analysis can be done. And how you can do that? Through data analysis. And how you do the data analysis? Through the predictive modeling, or say descriptive analytics. There you need forecasting. So everywhere, whether it's you might be from the fashion industry, I can understand that. But to be honest, this forecasting is an evergreen topic. It can be used in any domain. Remember, one of your participants or friend asked about the supply chain domain. Yes, one of the important part of forecasting is supply chain is the forecasting, demand planning. Similarly, in the fashion industry also, you need demand planning is important, right? You need demand planning. Apart from that, demand planning is important part. Apart from that, I talked about that even Vedanta. Vedanta is also coming up with different type of fashion products, fashion brand, etc., right? So future groups, so everybody is entering because it's a future and there is huge population in your country. And if they can cater the fashion industry effectively, they will increase their market share and they can become a market player, top player in the segment also. But in that case, they need forecasting, right? Otherwise, they cannot do their demand planning, some financial planning or sales planning or marketing planning. But how to do that? You need some techniques of business forecasting. That you are learning. This learning that you will go through from these courses or the techniques, the modules of these courses, it's not related to only say inventory or the supply chain or say demand planning or the marketing domain or say manufacturing domain. It can be used in any sector. Here you can see I have mentioned. You can see perhaps couple of sector I have mentioned. Look at here. Whether it's a retail, I have already mentioned retail, right? So your question is already addressed. Retail, finance sector, healthcare sector, manufacturing sector, energy sector, everywhere you require forecasting. and the techniques of forecasting. That's it. Any other question? Any other question? Luis, is it clear? So be clear to you all? If I have missed any other question, please let me know, or not able to answer you effectively, let me know. I'll try to address further, or say if I missed your query, then I am sorry. You can repost your comment in the chat box. I am happy to answer again in case I missed your query or doubt. So if there is no further question, we can wait. Can I see the participants further, whether they are still here with us or they have left? This one? Tell me now. If I missed any question or comments or doubts from anyone, then that's not a good planning. We should address each and everybody's doubt. I think all left, but still few people are there. You can talk to them. I think they have closed the link now because 1 hour session was given to me. Stay. I have made picked now. What happened?
24 participants are there.
Still there. Okay. So.
I think we can close it.
Huh?
You have to give.
Yeah. Yeah, Mohammed, don't worry. I will come again. Actually, I had an issue, family issue, so I had to go home. Even I could not complete my recording also. So, I will come for live sessions. Few more live sessions will be there so that your doubts can be cleared effectively and you get more interaction with me. And also, you will get a better compatibility about my teaching style and your understanding effectively, so that remaining sessions you can understand through my lectures effectively. Definitely I will be with more live sessions. Yeah, Kamlesh. Yeah, thank you, Vishwal, for your acknowledgement. Kamlesh, what is, sir, in fashion forecasting used by PR professionals? Is fashion forecasting used by PR professionals, communication professionals in fashion business industry? Yeah. It's not even PR. PR is a requirement for every segment, Kamlesh. Without PR team and communication team, you cannot sustain. Even if you tomorrow if you do a MBA, just since I belong to a MBA department, I am a faculty of decision science in MBA department and analytics field of management department or business department, I can share with you, Kamlesh, in future if you have to do MBA, you will get to know PR team, PR and communications team is one of the most important pillar of your business understanding. Throughout the 2 years of MBA program, you will have many courses, many interaction as a part of PR team and communications. You learn different understanding, different sessions for experts who are very strong in PR and marketing, as well as brand management, as well as the communication skill. These people will come, they will take sessions, they will groom you how to become strong in communication, how to become strong in brand management, effective way of explaining to the consumers, to the clients, and being a better PR team management. So this is important part. I agree with you. In fashion and the brand management process, there should be a strong PR professionals who can manage that part effectively. I agree with you. But who knows that tomorrow you can be one of the best PR management, right? Manager. Who knows that? Learn all these things over a period of time. If you do some MBA, you learn techniques, tools of PR management, how to handle people, how to manage them, how to talk to them, how to attract consumers, how to make your product more sellable, and how to talk to them as a better PR member. You learn, and that is a part of fashion industry, not only fashion, everywhere. Amit, demand forecasting versus demand planning. What is the difference, sir? Okay. It is like estimation and prediction. There is a question, estimation and demand planning is to some extent, it's a larger aspects. Demand forecasting is a part of demand planning. Demand planning is a larger, like supply chain planning. Demand forecasting. Similarly, demand planning is a larger terminology as compared to demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is a component after estimating the past demand or experts' opinion or future prediction. You can predict based on the experts' opinion on the past data or company sales. If you can analyze the data, you can estimate it, and then you can make a predict the future of demand. All put together is your demand planning. All put together is a term for demand planning. So demand planning is a larger aspect. Demand forecasting, you can say it's a subset, or you can say that it's an integral part of demand planning. Forecasting is a future prediction, but demand planning is all. You have to understand the estimation and all these things, and then you understand that companies need the strategical decision making. All can be coming together. Even strategy part can also be a part of your demand planning, right? What could be the demand? What could be the strategy? Whether you should launch a new product or not? Whether which market you should enter now? When to launch all this product? This can be a part of your demand planning, but that may not be a part of a demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is a small integral part of your demand planning. So it's a larger part of demand planning, and demand forecasting is a subset of demand planning. Kamlesh, because I am interested in luxury fashion PR down. Yeah, my best wishes to you. You enhance yourself, learn yourself more on that, and then you go that the future. Luxury industry, fashion industry is the future. Many companies like Aditya Birla, Reliance, and then Vedanta, all these big players are entering now in this luxury fashion industry. In India, we do not have earlier. Now these big companies are, they are buying the foreign product, they are launching their own product, and they are entering to the fashion industry effectively. So you can think on that. Earlier we do not have, fashion industry was not that popular in India actually, earlier. Because only foreign brands used to come. Now our own Indian manufacturer and Indian companies are entering, big players are entering now. It is a good sign for India actually. In IT, India is dominating the world. In refinery manufacturing also, to some extent we are doing good. But in fashion industry also now, luxury fashion industry also, like I can tell you, luxury fashion, you can think about the watches also. Like you, me, we are the common people, right? We may use basic hand watch, but wristwatch. But there is a company called Ethos or DTDM, like something. Ethos industry. If you go to Ethos is a brand who handle only the top class wristwatch. And if you enter to their showroom, their minimum price of a wristwatch could be 2 lakh. Minimum 1 lakh, 2 lakh. It could be 25 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore. In India, people are buying. In India, people are buying with 1 crore, 2 crore of wristwatch. People are there. That is called the branded fashion industry. Just one example I am talking about. You go to recently, Vedanta is coming up with the big, that bridals and grooms wears. During marriage, people can wear that. So they are coming out with that particular segment. They are trying to cater that segment. I think Vedanta or Aditya Birla Group are coming. So that means there is a segment where there are so many marriages happen, and in India many people go visits. They wear different type of marriage products, right? So therefore that type of products, they are coming up with that type of product with that category with the branded name of fashion industry. Like I know a couple of branded name of them. Like I forgot that, but there is a couple of big names they are coming up with their brand. So it will be good for them also. Right, like Mannabar. I know Aditya Birla or Vedanta is coming with Mannabar. Mannabar is a big fashion brand. They are coming up for the bridals and the grooms and all these things. So this is the future. You can think on that. You can explore yourself. Any further query? Let me check. I cannot see there, only here I can see. Yeah. Yeah, you can connect through my LinkedIn. I may be irregular in LinkedIn, but I do check sometimes. You can connect with me. Acha, Amit, what Acha, I have addressed comments of Amit also. And I believe with the answer of Kamlesh, Luis also understood few more response from my side about the fashion industry. There are no further comments, queries or doubts. Yeah, still there are many students in the live session now. Let us wait another 5 minutes if they have comments, because otherwise the technical team will have to close the session. So hello everyone. With that, if you have no further comments or questions or doubts, we can wind up our first live session. Maybe after 1 or 2 weeks, we can have one more live session. Let us wait another 2 weeks. You might have more doubts because 2 more weeks will come and you will get more modules, more topics. Then you might generate more questions, more doubts. Then I will come again. Then we'll have another one round of interactive sessions also, live sessions also. And then we can have one more also, like I'm thinking to have at least 3 live sessions with you all, so that you can get more response directly from me along with my team. Like PhD students are there, Rahul and Himanshu, they will be addressing to your all comments in the discussion forum. You can post your comments over there. Rahul and Himanshu will address to that, to all these comments. They have already addressed around 20-30 comments, I know. Still today also I have given answers to around another 20-30 questions per person, more than that. In our next live sessions, we'll gather more comments and then we'll have one more round of interactive session. So if you have no further comments, with that we can wind up today's session. Thank you all. Our technical team is now closing the session. This is the last chance for you to ask me further questions, otherwise they will close the session. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone. Yeah, you can close now.